Hi, AP Lit students. I'm Ms. Rusella.
I'm Mr. Neeson.
And I'm Miss Cody.
We're your hosts for AP Lit this year. We'd like to talk to you about a set of tools that you should be using as you read carefully and closely in order to analyze a text and eventually write about it. The tools that we want to introduce to you are the three words says, means, and matters. What's a text say? What's that mean? And why does it matter? When we talk about what a text says, what we're really talking about is the literal meaning of what's on the page, what's really there. This is what we mean when we talk about reading comprehension. This is what you can see when you're looking through eyeglasses. It's what's really on the lines. And in order for us to really process what's on the lines, we actually should be reading more than one time. If we're studying something, we are rereading it. And when you reread to grasp all that you can, you should ask yourself a set of questions. What goes with what? What opposes what? And what follows or follows from what?
Our next level is going to be the means, and the means is inferential. It's basically taking what you just noticed, the says stuff, and saying, okay, what does this stuff suggest? What does it imply? The picture that we can use to think about is a microscope, and that is that when we look at something underneath a microscope, we kind of zoom in closer to it, and we notice things that we hadn't noticed just with the naked eye before, okay? We can think of it as between the lines. If it's on the lines when it's the says, between, we look a little bit more closely and we see a different kind of meaning there. And it's worth noticing that there's multiple meanings, that there's a level of complexity and uncertainty that arises when we're looking at the means level. We might look at a character who has a flower in her hair. That's the says. Okay, so what does that suggest about her? And that's where it gets a little bit uncertain. We don't know for sure what that might suggest about her. We kind of guess, but that's going to carry us into the next level, which is matters.
So matters is when you start seeing patterns, when things repeat a little bit, when you see what we call textual echoes, something that came up before and it's reinforced or resonated in a different way, slightly different idea, and they start to build. It's looking at something bigger. It's looking beyond. If the seeing on the page is looking at glasses and seeing between the lines is looking at with a microscope, this is the telescope looking bigger and bigger and bigger because literature is supposed to have meaning. It's supposed to carry weight. And there isn't ever a correct answer, one single correct answer. It means that in each of our times in our life and our personalities, we might see some different truths. If that truth is defended by the text, by the things that you saw and made meaning out of, then you probably have an interpretation that truly matters. We're going to be asking you to do this in your readings in class. We'll call it says, means, and matters. And there's a chart that can tell you how to interpret that just a little bit more.